Welcome back, or welcome to Autoimmune Health Solutions. My name is Dr. Michael Smith, and in this short series of videos, I'm going to share with you the 6 pillars of the Ancestral Autoimmune Protocol. Your 4th pillar is all about mindset and mindfulness. Now, I think we all want to have the best mindset possible in the sense of, having your action item list of things you want to do to be successful in whatever you do. And we also want to have that mindset that keeps us maybe shopping against the walls of your grocery store to just buy the healthiest, most nutrient-dense and preferably organic food. And that's a mindset thing. Some of us have other goals, and we want to have the mindset and the vision boards and everything else we need to be successful. But it's also really important to be aware of that if you have an autoimmune condition, your whole physiology is going to be a bit out of balance. And that may throw your mindset and your ability to rely on it consistently also a bit out of balance, which is why I bring up the context of mindfulness. It's easy to think, if I had a better mindset, then I'd be a person with a better mindset. But the only way you're going to change your mindset is to be mindful of your default mindset. Now, I'm going to cover this in future videos, but we all have something in our mind called a default mode network, which means when you're not really actively engaged in something, your mind is going to kind of open up what I nowadays call the old stories email list, which means if you're not, again, focused on something, your mind is going to tell you the stories that you still have to work out from the past. And that's our internal dialogue. It's why your mind talks to itself all the time and why we have this ancient symbol for I'm kind of looping. And the more we can actually get underneath of that default mode network, that email list of old grudges and old losses and old beliefs about yourself that may limit your mindset in the biggest ways, the most important thing you could do is to engage in mindfulness so that you can look at that list, see where it's coming from, focus on your breath, your calmness, your body, take a shower, hot, cold, back and forth, whatever it takes to kind of bring you back into the moment. It's not a surprise to me that every ancient culture in the world, take for example China and India, they have the 2 oldest systems of healing in the world, and they both have something called yoga or something called Qi Gong, where their biggest resource as a society is go to the park, get together with some friends, go to a class, get together with some friends, move, breathe, stretch, tone, open, calm, and connect. And those things are essential for us to be able to trust ourselves. And that's where mindfulness begins, is trusting that you can be a bit more patient than your immediate list of things that are coming at you from the past, or that may seem like they're about the future, but they're more about a past belief that you can't actually handle your future. So that's a big subject, obviously, but take a moment and ask yourself, what is my mindset now that I've been diagnosed with this condition? Or if you've been dealing with your condition for a few years, how much has your diagnosis and the changes in your physical and emotional well-being changed your mindset? Because the fastest way to change it back, or change it in the way you want it to become, is to practice more mindfulness. So I'm sure there's 1,000 really great videos on YouTube on mindfulness. I'll be putting up some more in the future. But great step to start with. As long as you can believe in yourself and trust yourself, the diet, your metabolism, and getting your fitness together, they're a lot easier. In your 4th pillar, which is all about mindfulness and mindset, step 1 again is all about rest. And this is why I encourage people to focus on a lying meditation or a seated meditation at the beginning to just see what it's like to be as still as possible. Chronic illness and chronic pain make everybody restless, and inflammation can actually mess up your neurotransmitters and make us have a kind of floating and physical anxiety. So step 1, phase 1, always rest and stillness. One of my favorite things to encourage people to do across all of these pillars is a sensory deprivation tank or a float tank experience. There's amazing things that can happen in that environment. They can help you reset very deep kinds of restlessness and even help you release certain kinds of trauma that you may not know you're carrying around inside your nervous system. In phase 2, with respect to mindfulness, what I encourage people to do is to actually get into a kind of stress release practice that comes from Qi Gong, where you're using mindfulness, awareness, and movement to learn to release tension in an active way. Now, it's one thing to kind of just relax and chill. It's another thing to go in there and change the physical memory or the neuroplastic memory of your body around stress by shifting the most stressful parts of your body from I'm really upset place to an I'm really calm place. Now, that's a technology, it's a practice. You have to learn it in a sequence, and that's something you actually probably want to do with a teacher, because each of us is holding our stress in our own way. So again, with that sense of mindfulness, releasing tension in a gradual way, step by step, and you know how, and you know you can do that for the rest of your life, that changes actually how you experience stress. Instead of going, oh my God, what to do? It's like, oh, okay, I know what to do. In phase 2, I also encourage people to try some journaling. So your sense of self-reflection is something you can look at today, you can look at what you had to say a week ago, and over time you can get to know yourself with respect to problem solving and also with respect to maybe the grudges that you're still carrying around. And that's important because the last thing I encourage my patients to do in phase 2 is the practice of recapitulation. Now, that's a very subtle practice, and it goes back a long way in human history. But it's fundamentally an opportunity by yourself or with individual people to rearrange how it is you remember your past, how you remember yourself in the past, and gradually how you remember how you can, as a person in the present and the future, respond to conflict and make sure you can maintain your authenticity and autonomy as a person. Because an autoimmune disease is often very complex, and it usually includes some inner turmoil. So the more practical we get at solving that kind of turmoil within ourselves and within our relationships, the more functional and adaptable we are in our lives. When we look at phase 3, things are probably starting to get better. When it comes to mindfulness and mindset, now you want to focus on goal setting, vision boards, maybe even spending some time with a counselor to make sure you really are pretty clear on your mindset, where it's coming from, and that it's actually something you can kind of steer around like you've got your hands on the steering wheel. I'm sure you're aware within your own life, or perhaps in the lives of people you know, a lot of our behavior is unconscious, and a lot of our reactions and things that get us into conflict and trouble are again unconscious. So anything you can do to become more conscious of those things, the sooner you can regain your sense of self. In phase 4, when it comes to mindset, my encouragement for people is to start challenging yourself. Commit to a rite of passage. Commit to doing something that's physically or spiritually or emotionally something you used to think may have been beyond you. Because we're trying to not just solve a diagnosis. We're trying to actually come back into our lives in a renewed way. And that's something that you kind of have to prove to yourself through effort and through some kind of condition. Not everyone likes to teach or coach, but if you're a person that's just spent probably 3 or 4 months focused completely on your health and learned a whole bunch of practices and other things, I would encourage you to go and offer a class or give a talk. This has been my journey with autoimmune disease. Talk about whatever you want, teach whatever you want, coach people in whatever way you want. But it shifts our whole perspective in the sense of moving through a process, because now you are the expert on your condition because you are so much better. So learn to share that with people, share your experience, and that might give you a different sense of confidence and what's meaningful about this process. Because again, it isn't just about making the disease go away, it's about healing your whole life. Thanks for watching the video, and please hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell, share this with anyone you might think would need it, and more than anything, please leave a comment, or probably more important than that, leave a question for me as to what kind of videos you would like me to make to support you in your health. I'm actually having fun doing this now. I think I've got it kind of worked out. So let me know what you need a video on, and I'll do my best to put that in the pipe and get it back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching again, and have a great day.